Tenemos hoy día la conferencia del doctor Jean-Jacques Latellat, que es un científico de alto renombre internacional, experto en terapia celular, que es la terapia del siglo XXI, que nos va a explicar un poco la terapia celular presente y futuro. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Buenas tardes. I will speak in English because my Spanish is not good. I'm sorry, but I will speak slowly. My talk is about stem cells, generalities on stem cells, and they are used today in medicine, in regenerative medicines, and in the future. Very schematically, stem cells are defined by two characteristics, two main properties. The first properties of the stem cells is the cell renewal. This means that one stem cells can give rise to the same stem cells. This property is to maintain along the life a continued pool of stem cells in the organism. The second property is the capacity of proliferation and differentiation of the stem cells to give rise to diversity of cell types of mature cells. In tissue with very high renewal capacity, stem cells are always in activity to maintain all along the life the homeostasis of the tissues and to produce from the stem cells, as you can see. Is there a pointer? No? A pointer? In the skin, you have a skin niche, which is a biological structure in which there is stem cells, and these stem cells that are named epidermal stem cells proliferate and differentiate toward mature keratinocytes named corneocytes, and this proliferation and differentiation is continue all along the life to renewal the epidermis. This is the same process in the stem cell niche in intestine, where you have also stem cells of intestine cells, and that proliferate and differentiate all along the life to produce mature and functional intestinal cells. And this is the main process in bone marrow, where in bone marrow occur the hematopoiesis. The hematopoiesis is a process for producing mature cells in the blood, such as red blood cells, white cells, and platelets. And these hematopoietic cells come from an hematopoietic stem cells that is located in the bone marrow. And this production is continued all along the life to produce these specific mature cells. We can define different types of stem cells: embryonic stem cells and adult stem cells. And according these two types of cells, we can define four types of properties. The first is a totipotent properties, totipotentiality. This means that this embryonic stem cell, totipotent embryonic stem cells, can generate embryonic and extra-embryonic cell types. For example, this is a case of the fertilized egg. The pluripotentiality of embryonic stem cells is, for example, embryonic stem cell lines. These embryonic pluripotent stem cells can generate cells of the three germ layers: mesoderm, ectoderm, endoderm layers. And after you have adult stem cells with two properties: multipotent adult stem cells and unipotent adult stem cells. Multipotent adult stem cells, for example, hematopoietic stem cells, and also mesenchymal stem cells, that are cells that could generate several cell types for one or two germ layer. And finally, unipotent stem cells, for example, the keratinocyte stem cells, that could give rise only one type of cells. Keratinocyte stem cells produce only keratinocyte, mature keratinocyte. However, it is more complex than this classification, and it is possible today to identify a new type of stem cells that is named IPS, inductible pluripotent stem cells, and this is the object of the new Nobel Prize. This IPS cells is a special type of embryonic stem cells that could be produced from an adult cells, and this adult cells is reprogrammed into embryonic cells. With manipulation of some genes, we can return at the early stage of embryonic period. And this is very interesting because you can obtain from mature adult cells the embryonic origin of the cells. Concerning the archetype of multipotent, thank you. The archetype of multipotent stem cells, which is hematopoietic stem cells. This hematopoietic stem cells is very quiescent, it's in dormance, and it's very rare. It's very rare in the bone marrow, minus than 0.01% of the cell in the bone marrow. And under certain conditions of proliferation and differentiation, you can obtain different stage of proliferation and differentiation in the bone marrow, such as progenitor cells, the first stage of proliferation, and then precursors at the early stage, and then this precursor goes through from bone marrow to the peripheral blood to give rise to the mature differentiated cells, such as red blood cells, platelets, and white cells. This is the process of hematopoiesis. This process of hematopoiesis could be studied in vitro by some tests, and it is possible only to observe in vitro the stage of progenitors and precursor and mature cells, but it is not possible to observe at the microscope the hematopoietic stem cells. The only possibility to define these hematopoietic stem cells in vitro is to graft the cell in a mouse, in an immunodeficient mouse, and if you graft human hematopoietic stem cells in an immunodeficient mice, you can obtain mature differentiated human cells in this mouse, and after, if you take the bone marrow of this first mouse, you can again obtain mature hematopoietic human cells in the second mice. And this graft of the second mice by the first mice proves the definition of the stem cells. It is the only definition of the stem cells today. The regulation of this process of hematopoiesis is a very tightly regulated process through different cytokines, different chemokines, different element components of the extracellular matrix, such as adhesion molecules, and all these products, cytokine, chemokine, growth factor, are produced by stromal cells that are endothelial cells, fibroblasts, osteoblasts, osteoclasts, and also mesenchymal stromal cells. And all these cells produce cytokine and growth factor that regulate the proliferation and the differentiation of these hematopoietic cells. This process goes through in bone marrow, and in a special zone of bone marrow that are named stem cell niches. These niches are very specialized biological structure in which the hematopoietic stem cells is maintained in quiescence, in dormance, all during the life, and when you have an injury such as an anemia or a bleeding, this is a stimulation occurring in this niche that produce the proliferation of the stem cell to give rise to mature cells. This is the representation of this bone marrow niche, and today we can define two types of niche: an endosteal niche, more close to the endost, to the bone, and a vascular niche, more close to the vascularization of the bone. And as you can see, the niche is constituted by different types of stromal cells: fibroblasts, osteoblasts, adipocytes, mesenchymal stem cells, and all these cells produce different cytokine, different chemokine, growth factor, and maintain the hematopoietic stem cells in dormance, in quiescence in the niche. Okay, and it is also important to know that in this niche we have a very low concentration of oxygen. The niche are in hypoxia. Okay. Conversely, in the vascular niche, the hypoxia decrease and the concentration of oxygen increase, and hematopoietic stem cells could proliferate and differentiate and migrate to the blood to produce mature cells. Very recently, within this niche, it has been also demonstrated that neuron can play an important role in the regulation of the niche, and also other cells such as immune cells that play an important role also in this regulation. It is very important to understand the mechanism of hematopoiesis regulation, because hematopoiesis must be very tightly regulated within the niche, since when the niche is empty, this leads to a pathology with an aplasia. And when niche became crazy, this proliferation is very, very important. It is a case of production of leukemia. Okay? It is very important to understand the regulation of this niche today, because we can modulate the niche and modulate the evolution of the aplasia or the leukemia. This is exactly the same process in intestinal niches, which where myofibroblasts or small muscle cells play a role of stromal cells and produce factors that regulate the production of intestinal cells from stem cell niche, from intestinal stem cells. And this is the same also in the neural niche, where endothelial cell, smooth muscle cells regulate the proliferation and the differentiation of neural stem cells. And also it is the same in the skin niche. And all these examples are to show the importance of the environment in the regulation, in the homeostasis of the tissues, and to show that because of the importance of this environment, the stem cells can produce repair of the tissue after injury and regenerate the tissue after injury. Beside these adult stem cells, and especially hematopoietic stem cells, you have also other type of cells, and for example embryonic stem cells. And the difference between adult stem cells and embryonic stem cells is that adult stem cells come from untransformed cell product. At the contrario, embryonic stem cells come from transformed cell product. This is a disadvantage. And another disadvantage to obtain the embryonic stem cells is the destroy of the source, because we have to destroy the embryo to obtain the embryonic stem cells, while for adult cells it is not necessary to destroy the source, to destroy the bone marrow, to destroy the fat to obtain stem cells from adult. In the bone marrow, you have a very high heterogeneity of stem cells. We have not only hematopoietic stem cells, but it is possible to find other types of adult stem cells, such as hemangioblasts, endothelial progenitor cells that could produce endothelial cells at the origin of vessels, and also mesenchymal stem cells. And we think that all these stem cells come from an unique pluripotent somatic stem cell named multipotent adult progenitor cells. Okay, but the existence of these multipotent adult progenitor cells is controversial today. Mesenchymal stem cell, no, it's a special type of stem cells that could give rise to different cells from different type of specialized cells, such as bone cells, osteocyte, osteoblast, chondrocyte cells, adipocytes, and muscle cells. This is why these cells are multipotent stem cells, because they could give rise to these different type of specialized cells. Another source of stem cells besides the bone marrow, today became very important, is the adipose tissue, the fat, and we can find in the fat a very high amount of stem cells, of mesenchymal stem cells, that is named adipose-derived stromal cells, ADC. And after liposuction, we can obtain a great volume of fat, and after centrifugation, here you have the fat, and here you have a small part that is named stromal vascular fraction, and in this stromal vascular fraction we have a large amount of mesenchymal stem cells. And these cells are very interesting for their use in regenerative medicine today. Another source is the mobilized peripheral blood. It is possible today to mobilize stem cells from the bone marrow to the peripheral blood by using growth factors, such as granulocyte colony stimulating factor, GCSF. It is used in leukemia treatment to mobilize the stem cell from the bone marrow to the peripheral blood, and then collect these stem cells with a special machine in the peripheral blood, and then to obtain a graft, an autologous graft of stem cell. And after chemotherapy of the patient, after aplasia, you can graft this stem cell from the peripheral blood, and it is very easy to collect these cells. Another very interesting source of these stem cells is from extraembryonic tissues. What are these extraembryonic tissues? This is a placenta with two membranes of placenta, the chorion and the amnion. The chorion in the membrane at the mother face, and the amnios is the membrane at located at the fetus face of the placenta. And there is a lot of mesenchymal stem cells in these two membranes, and we can also found mesenchymal stem cells in the amniotic fluid, and also in the cord, the umbilical cord, which is named Wharton jelly, and in this jelly, around the vessel of the umbilical cord, we can find also a large amount of mesenchymal stem cells. Now, what is the definition of cell therapy today? Cell therapy is a therapeutic method based on the use of autologous or allogenic live cells for regenerating a tissue or its function, consisting in collecting these cells modifying or amplifying in culture in vitro these cells prior to their administration in the patient. This is the definition of cell therapy. What is cell therapy today? Today, when you make a transfusion of blood red cells or platelets, this is cell therapy. This is a cell therapy of differentiated cells. And this cell therapy produce an immediate and short-term repopulating of the cells, of the red blood cells of platelet in the patient. You can also have a more specialized cell therapy by using stem cells, such as hematopoietic stem cells. This is the case of the bone marrow transplantation in case of leukemia. And this is the case also of keratinocytes when you graft an epidermis after keratinocyte culture to a patient burned. And in this case, you have a long-term repopulating capability of these cells, but very restricted to the function. For hematopoietic stem cells, it is restricted to hematopoiesis function, and for keratinocyte to the skin function. And finally, you have a more generalist stem cell therapy by using mesenchymal stem cells. And these mesenchymal stem cells are multipotent stem cells and also have another property very interesting today in regenerative medicine is this stromal activity because they produce a lot of growth factors. In hematology, by using today hematopoietic stem cells, the problem, if you want to amplify in vitro, in culture, if you want to amplify the number of hematopoietic stem cells, because these cells are very rare, during the culture, they lose their multipotentiality, and it is difficult to make proliferate these cells and to keep their multipotentiality. And this is today a very important topic of research to increase the hematopoietic stem cells number without lose the multipotentiality and the differentiation capacity of these cells. And you have a different possibility to work by awakening dormant hematopoietic stem cell using certain cytokine cocktails, or using inhibitors of differentiation, by using a modelization of the stem cell niche in vitro for mimicking the physiological condition, etc., etc. And another possibility also is to inject hematopoietic stem cell not in the peripheral blood for the graft, but directly in the bone. And today it is possible to inject the bone marrow transplantation directly intrabone, directly in the bone. And this is important because the homing of the cells is bypassed and the cells are directly in the bone marrow. Now concerning the mesenchymal stem cells, this mesenchymal stem cell, regarding all these properties, multipotential properties, differentiation in bone cells, cartilage cells, muscle cells, etc., etc. Regarding also the action, the environmental action of these cells, they exhibit immunomodulation activity, anti-inflammatory activity, anti-fibrotic activity, antiseptic activity, etc. by the production of growth factor cytokines. And because all these properties, these cells are named today drug cells, because a real drug for regenerative medicine. And now I will show you the different application today in human and also in animal models only, and not in human, in different pathologies, in different specialties of pathologies. And first, the first application is in hematology. In hematology today, it is possible to perform a co-grafting of mesenchymal stem cells and hematopoietic stem cells, and it has been demonstrated that by using this co-grafting, the graft of hematopoietic stem cells is improved by the co-injection of mesenchymal stem cells. Okay? It has been demonstrated in the treatment of breast cancer after chemotherapy, and the reconstitution of hematopoiesis after the chemotherapy in this breast cancer was improved by this double graft. It has been also used in allogenic situation in human. And finally, it is very interesting in allotransplantation of hematopoietic stem cells when a donor is not exactly in the same HLA type from with the receiver, with the receiver of the graft. And in this allogenic situation, the use of a co-graft of mesenchymal stem cells could reduce the rejection of these hematopoietic stem cells in allogenic situation, hematopoiesis situation, and decrease the duration of the aplasia and the risk of the GVHD disease, which is the reaction between the graft and the host. When you have an allogenic situation, the graft contains lymphocytes that attack the host, and especially all the cells of the host, the skin and the intestine, and this is the GVHD disease. And this is very nefast for the patient. And when using mesenchymal stem cells in combination with these allogenic hematopoietic stem cells, we reduce the occurrence of this GVHD disease. Another application in hematology, it was in the one case of aplastic anemia, which is a deficient of the niche, the deficient of mesenchymal stem cells in the niche, with a severe bone marrow aplasia. And this patient has been grafted by an allogenic culture mesenchymal stem cells, and it has been shown that the improvement of the anemia and the bone marrow stromal function were increased in this patient after this transplantation, but this is only one case. Regarding the capacity of these mesenchymal stem cells to modulate the immunology, because these cells are capable to inhibit the proliferation of T lymphocyte and B lymphocyte, and also to regulate the proliferation and the activation of dendritic cells, but also of natural killer cells. It has been shown that this capacity to modulate the immune reaction is due to TGF-beta with a transforming growth factor and hepatocyte growth factor, prostaglandin E2, that are produced by mesenchymal stem cells and that are modulate the proliferation and differentiation of the immune cells. And this is why these cells could be used today in the GVH control. It has been also demonstrated in case of irradiation of the tissue in animal model that when you treat a multi-organ failure after total body irradiation in mice, the co-infusion of mesenchymal stem cells and hematopoietic stem cells improve the treatment of these mice. And also it has been demonstrated in this work that the treatment of gastrointestinal syndrome after irradiation was improved by using mesenchymal stem cell administration in these animals. Now another application is in cardiovascular application. The main application of these mesenchymal stem cells in cardiovascular repair is in myocardial lesion, and there is today in the world many human clinical trials by using mesenchymal stem cells in combination to surgery in myocardial infarction, and it has been shown that this mesenchymal stem cell therapy improve the cardiac function in these cases. Another work show the combination of mesenchymal stem cells and endothelial cells to improve the function of the myocardium and the regeneration of the tissue after infarction and the functional improvement also. Another clinical application is the leg ischemia, and there is a first large study in 2002 in Japan on 22 patients with a local injection of total bone marrow. The result, there are not only mesenchymal stem cells, but total mononuclear cells of bone marrow that were directly injected in the muscle of the leg, and they show that this injection after Doppler and after clinical analysis improve the treatment of this patient. And actually there is in France since 2010 a clinical trial in leg ischemia by using mesenchymal stem cell from fat, but we have not today the results of this study. Another very interesting application is this disease, which is the Berger disease. This is a vascularitis of extremities with very high inflammation, local inflammation, and especially in the foot, in the feet, and in the hands. And as you can see here, we have not vascularization of the foot. And after administration of mesenchymal stem cell from cord blood, it was mesenchymal stem cell from cord blood. As you can see, the reapparition of the vascularization in this foot, and in the hand we have a necrosis lesion of the first finger, and after administration of stem cell in 120 days the lesion is totally repaired. And in this report it is also very interesting to note that after mesenchymal stem cell administration, the pain disappears very quickly after the injection. Thank you. Another possibility to use these cells, but this is here an animal model, is acute lung injury, which is characterized by an edema of the lung and an increase of endothelial permeability. And they show that by administering mesenchymal stem cells in the blood, in the peripheral blood, in this animal, they decrease the lung endothelial permeability and the edema, and increase and promote the survival of these mice. Now, in neurology disease, also it is another important application in strokes. And this is a clinical trial in stroke. This is a phase 1 clinical trial with only 5 patients, but where autologous mesenchymal stem cells were administered in peripheral blood. And this study show a clinical improvement of stroke and an excellent tolerance of the cells. It is also possible to use these cells in Parkinson's disease. This is an example of a rat model, but there is today also a human clinical application in Parkinson's disease. And in this case, mesenchymal stem cells are transduced with the L-DOPA gene to produce L-DOPA in situ. And finally, another interesting application is spinal cord injury, but today this is only in animal model, in rat model of spinalization, and they demonstrate that in situ administration of mesenchymal stem cells could show a clinical improvement of the animals, and in some animals axonal regenerations. In neurological tumor also, it has been used stem cells as vector of anti-drug molecules such as interferon alpha, for example, in glioblastoma. It is also very important in autoimmunity disease, autoimmune disease such as Crohn's disease, multiple sclerosis, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, and diabetes type 1. There is today an important number of clinical trials in human in these pathologies, in these autoimmune pathologies, because the properties of mesenchymal stem cells to modulate, to regulate the immune function. And finally, I'm not present the application in severe burns because this is another talk, and this is our specialty in our hospital. And we use mesenchymal stem cells in radiation-induced burn directly in the lesion because these lesions are very located and characterized by an important inflammation. And the treatment is the combination of surgery, the excision of the necrotic tissue, an autograft skin, and then an injection, locally injection of mesenchymal stem cells from autologous bone marrow. Okay, and today we have treated 10 patients around the world with this technique with success. In orthopedic application now, and finally this is the last application. This is the first application of mesenchymal stem cells in a pathology named imperfecta osteogenesis. I don't know if you know this pathology, but it is a genetic disease characterized by an absence of collagen, type 1 collagen synthesis. And we think that this collagen synthesis is due to mesenchymal stem cells and a default of mesenchymal stem cells production of this collagen, and is characterized clinically by a delayed bone growth and frequent fractures of the bones. And it has been for the first time treated by allogenic bone marrow transplantation into 2001. And as you can see, the results was 3 engraftment among 5 patients with a bone growing and an improvement, the decrease of bone lesion. And after they treat also this patient with allogenic bone marrow transplantation plus mesenchymal stem cell administration to improve the efficiency of the allogenic bone marrow transplantation, and they increase the efficiency of the engraftment, 5 patients among 6, okay, with the best bone growing and a good mineralization. And today they could inject allogenic mesenchymal stem cells directly in the fetus, directly in utero, before the birth of the children, and they show that they obtain a very good engraftment, no bone lesion during the first two years of the life. And this is an important application of this mesenchymal stem cell. Another application in bone is the treatment of very large bone defect. And in this application there is various animal models using biomaterials combined with mesenchymal stem cells, with fibrin glue, with platelet-rich plasma, and various type of biomaterials, hydroxyapatite, beta-triphosphoglycerol, etc., etc. And also another utilization is the distraction of the member, and when in small people it is possible to elong the bone of the member, and by administration of mesenchymal stem cells and platelet-rich plasma. And finally, it is possible to treat also cartilage lesions by combine mesenchymal stem cells and collagen scaffolds directly in the articulation. Today, there is many clinical trials of these mesenchymal stem cells, especially in autoimmune disease, nervous disease such as neural stroke, spinal cord injury, Crohn's disease, myocardial infarction, and in the future some other clinical application could be in diabetes, in acute renal injury, and also in kidney transplantation to improve the vascularization of the kidney. Okay, regarding all these properties of these cells, of these mesenchymal stem cells, their immunomodulation capacities, anti-apoptosis properties, pro-angiogenic properties, chemoattraction properties, anti-fibrosis, etc. These cells could be considered today as an universal drug cells and very useful in regenerative medicine for the future. And to finish, just 2 words about embryonic stem cells and iPS cells in hematology. These cells today are studied in vitro for models of human development, for studied also in vitro genetic disease, and in some studies also in animal models mainly for in therapeutic agents for regenerative medicine. But there is today in United States a clinical trial in human by using embryonic stem cells in spinal cord injury. This is the first clinical trial in the world using embryonic stem cells. And this is slide just to summarize and to conclude. It is important to show the impressive and amazing way covering these 50 years from the first bone marrow transplantation in 1957, the first cord blood transplantation in 1987, the first mesenchymal stem cell application in 2000, and today the first clinical application of human embryonic stem cells in spinal cord injury, and also in another application, which is the Stargardt macular dystrophy, this eye disease, retinal pathology. But fortunately, we are different, still different from the hydra and the salamander, and it will be very important to discover how the salamander could repair very quickly a member after a cutting of the member of the head. The salamander could repair in the 20 days the member of the head, but we don't know today how the mechanism of this repair, and it will be very interesting to apply this mechanism to human. Thank you very much for your attention.
Bueno, entonces, preguntas, por favor. ¿Alguien puede pasar el micro? Mejor que se acerque aquí para que salga grabada para la internet también. Pero todas las chicas guapas pueden salir.
¿Español o...? Sí, c'est como...
solo
va a traduire.
La pregunta que tenía... No importa. La pregunta que tenía en la parte de regeneración del cartílago, estuve leyendo y decía que tenía un impacto clínico pequeño.
Sí.
¿Eso quiere decir que el tratamiento no funciona a la perfección o no?
Sí, no, in English, sorry. This clinical study show histologically good results, but in clinical function, the pain did not disappear.
So it did not regenerate completely?
No. And the problem of this articular disease is the pain of the patient, but the pain did not disappear.
So, for example, if you have a broken meniscus, will it?
Not in meniscal application. This is in cartilage, in special cartilage destruction.
All right.
Okay, but in meniscal, it is another application. It is more difficult. Yeah.
Muchas gracias.
Yeah.
Exist some treatments to Alzheimer?
To Alzheimer by these cells, no, not today.
How much is available to the treatment of Parkinson? IAC Parkinson?
Yes, Parkinson disease.
How much is available?
No, it's not today. I think there is 1 or 2 clinical trials in the world, but it's not very good results today. The results are not very good.
I understand that this is amazing of the future, no?
Yes, maybe.
What is the risk of this treatment, or what is the risk?
I don't know exactly. Sorry.
Yes, because I see the stem cells multiplicate. Maybe.
Maybe, but because the problem in Parkinson disease is the dopamine, and the difficulties is to maintain stem cells alive after administration. It's difficult.